85 laps at Kansas is underway for maximum velocity.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I couldn't tell if it was almost contact or it was contact between the 9 of Will Kirk and the 46 of Scott Patton as Patton looks
Kirk is
underneath
loose. Oh, contact, Haynes! Oh, they're wrecking big time. That is ugly.
Oh, dear.
That's 10 to 12, 15 trucks even. Goodness gracious.
Right there, you see the front and that nose just gets away from him a little bit, so he's going to have to chase this thing. And as he does, he just gets right up into Rob Haynes in the 199, and that starts an absolute chain reaction here. And like you said, 10, maybe 15 trucks. Now, good news for some of the drivers that took minimal contact is the new damage model this year. You can take some pretty decent shots and still be okay, but man, there were a couple guys that got really hard into the wall there and into each other. Definitely a lot of damage here in the back half of the field.
Justin Michael in control, back on her way.
Michael with a great jump. Patton and Milfelt battling side by side for now. Patton will slot in front.
A couple of drivers shot the middle through 3 wide. No, Rainwater and Schulta most prominently to get into the top 10.
Rainwater's looking for more. He's underneath Pansula right now through turns 3 and 4. He has Andrew Schulta right on his heels, and now looking to the inside.
Made it the lap under green. To the outside of Cody Griffin. Oh! Trouble. It's Griffin and Norman. Griffin back at the track. Everybody does a nice job avoiding. Caution is out for the second time. Does he stay on offense here? No.
Wow, it
That
looked
was
like
a little time.
I think Patton had to maybe back out of it. Almost got up into the wall. My goodness.
Great battling up front here as Justin Michael has found his way back to the front. Patton now fighting with Lehman for second. Lehman now, good look here on the inside. But the help is up top.
Later on in the run, and the tire save line is definitely up by the wall. We see a lot of drivers stick to that. 444.
Oh, Patton into the wall.
Oh, no!
Oh, and Lehman gets tagged as they're checking up.
Lehman still in the grass.
One more trip around Justin Michael. And again, that's Ashton Crowder right behind him for the replay for next week. Crowder is still 1 lap down. Unfortunately, this would be a great battle to the end. We might get a photo finish. But it's been Justin Michael's race for quite some time, and now Justin Michael is going to get back to victory lane. It feels like it's been a really long time since Justin Michael has gone to victory lane.
Well, when we're used to seeing him in victory lane and truck 200 every week, yeah, it seems like it's been a while.
A crazy start to last week's race and a calm conclusion, but tonight, through and through, is going to be anything other than calm. 175 laps around Richmond for round number 14. As the season draws nearer and nearer to a close, things are only going to ratchet up from here. All of the action of the Maximum Velocity Racing League live from Richmond here tonight on Turn 200. Howdy folks, it's Tommy Cook. Matt Williamson will be along here momentarily. And what better way to get you set for tonight's short tracking than a look at the points here real quick before we get into it. Of course, not a surprise, Ashton Crowder started to pull away with it, gained points despite the fact that he was the last truck on the lead lap at the end of the race last week in Kansas. There's now a tie for second. Last week's winner, Justin Michael, and Andrew Schulte, who has been awfully consistent of late. Ronnie Norman and Greg Mall both have dropped a couple of positions, with Schulte and Michael moving back into the top three in points. If you thought there was a lot of beating and banging last week at Kansas, well, you're in for a race here tonight. 175 laps at Richmond Raceway is around the turn for Maximum Velocity Racing League on Turn 200.
A blind night that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon deep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
The ASRL Southern Shores Realty Sports Car Championship, live on Wednesday from Willow Springs, only on Turn 200. And now, our feature presentation. Welcome to Richmond Raceway live here on Turn 200 for Maximum Velocity Racing League. It's Tommy Cook. It's Matt Williamson. Are we ready for some short track elbow rootin' and tootin' racing on the bottom around Richmond here?
Yeah, I guess we're ready for whatever you just said. I think there'll be a couple of lines here, but it gets to be a little bit one line. I think we're going to see the bumpers having to be used a little bit here, which is never a bad thing here in the Maximum Velocity Racing League. I think we're in for a pretty darn good show here. Also, a lot of laps to go here tonight, 175 laps in the race, so it's time to buckle down for the drivers. They have a lot of laps to hit their marks.
And we've only had 3 short track races up to this point on pavement anyway. We're not counting Knoxville in that. But there's a lot of short tracks from here on out the rest of the season. I think it's important to note, outside of the speed chart, who has consistently performed this season at the short tracks.
Yes, and you built a nice little graphic here for the viewers. I know for those out there, it looks like our normal points graphic, which we kind of stole the format. But this is the total points gained on short tracks this season, which are paved tracks 1 mile or shorter. And as Tommy mentioned, we have 4 of them coming up to end the season, including tonight. Ashton Crowder, no surprise, he has gained the most points on the short tracks here this season. The one name you won't see on here is Justin Michael, who is currently tied in the points with Andrew Schulte for second. But Justin Michael did not make has not made 2 races this season, and both of those races were short track races. So that is why you don't see his name, but you'll see a lot of the familiar faces here. One that's up here is Michael Milfelt. He has been very good on the short tracks compared to some of the others this season. So he's going to be looking to take advantage of the back half of the season here.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Matt. We got about 2 minutes here. I don't know. Who do you want to dial up? I always get to pick the interviews. Is there anybody you want to pull up and chat to here real quick?
Why do you always spring things on? I don't
know.
We never talk about anything beforehand when we need to actually do something here. Is Michael Milfelt down there? We just talked about how he's been doing great on the short tracks this season.
He sure is. Let me go ahead and drag him up, maybe. And it's going to be a hot swap right in. Mike Milfelt, you got a copy?
I do. How you doing?
Oh, we're doing fantastic. You're in the top 10 on the speed charts here at Richmond. Short tracks have been kinder to you than others this season. How are we feeling about Richmond tonight?
I think most of that is luck, so hopefully we'll be lucky again tonight.
Well, what does it take to be fast around here?
I don't know. If I did, I'd be first.
All right, fair enough. Matt, do you have anything?
Well, you said it's going to take a little bit of luck. Is there any strategy that you try to employ to kind of at least help luck go your way?
I don't know. Just try to be mindful of what's going on in front of you. Not just 1 or 2 cars, but, well, hopefully there's not 1 or 2 cars in front of me, but yeah, you just be careful of what's out there on the track. Take it easy. Let the race come to you.
Anybody you want to say hi to here before we get this one going?
No, just thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. You guys do a great job.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. What channel did I pull you out of? Did I pull you out of Krankenstein?
Highline Racing.
Highline Racing. Alrighty. Well, I'll send you back there. Best of luck to you, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again here soon.
Thank you.
Alrighty, there you go. And perfect timing as well. Thanks, Matt, on the call. I think that is the first time we've gotten to talk to Michael Milfelt Jr. here this season. He's had a lot of moments up front, a lot of time up front, but not a lot of finishes up front. So hopefully we can turn the tides for him here. 5-minute 3-lap qualifying around the 3/4 mile short track, Richmond, Virginia. We have reset the sun a little bit. It's back up in the sky through the magic of sim racing.
Johnny Hamby's already out here motoring. He's coming to the line on his outlap, and timing will start now.
And Hamby was one of the drivers that was just off of that graphic. I think he was 12th in most points earned on short track races this season. For a guy who's still learning ovals, that's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. I think short tracks are probably the most difficult to adapt to when you kind of come from the road course scene. So, yeah, great job from Hamby to try his hand at these and continue to elevate as the season goes on.
Ashton Crowder to the top of the board with a time faster than what he put up in practice, 21.8. And remember, the People's Choice Challenge is still up for grabs here tonight. The pole sitter, who I imagine with that time will probably be Ashton Crowder, has the opportunity to go to the back of the field and try and work their way back up. The reward for that would be extra points for a top 5 finish. With a track like Richmond, not sure Ashton Crowder is going to want to do that, but we could be wrong. We'll have to see. He is a racer's racer. He's proven that time and time again.
Well, we're just on board with Brennan Gregg, currently sitting 4th on the qualifying chart. Has completed his last lap.
And Brennan Gregg, pretty good time as well. That's he did not have quite that much pace in practice, at least from what we saw. but pretty stellar time there. It's got him in the top 5 provisionally here. James Lehman across the line. He goes into the top 10, up to 9th.
And Michael Milfelt, who we just spoke with, currently sitting in 7th in qualifying, finishing up the last lap of his effort here. Does not gain any traction. Scott Patton just moved up to 5th.
21.97 for Scott. Doug Heveron on track. He's in the top 10 right now. Although I think he's working his last lap. We've got 25. Sorry, go ahead.
Pretty good wiggle out of James Lehman there out of turn 4, but he moves up to 5th here in qualifying. So might have even been able to squeeze a little bit more out of that.
And a driver we have not talked much about this season, Heath Smith. He is 3rd quickest in qualifying. So some drivers that we weren't really looking at coming into this qualifying session have busted out some fantastic times here.
And Smith, the Rocket and Oregon Ducks truck, of course, the Ducks are having a great season. And Ashton Crowder is now back out on the track.
And he forgone? I don't know the proper term, but he gave up his 2nd lap. Came back to the pits. We'll try it again here. See if we can go a little quicker. This is for the track record. And he goes quicker. How about it? 21.76. Holy cow.
Oh, Andrew Schulte's out on track, but wow, that was on his out lap. He tried to come blazing out of turn 4 down the front stretch and broke that thing way loose. So he's going to have to regroup here.
He's not going to have enough time, I don't think, to post another lap. So that is Schulte with no time here. In fact, only the top 16 drivers were able to post a number on the board out of 25 starters. Time is expiring. We've already got James Lehman up here in the booth, so we will make it official. Time has expired. Ashton Crowder will have the opportunity to move to the back of the field for some extra points here. We will bring him up. James, take it away.
Congratulations on the pole tonight, Ashton Crowder. Would you want to take the People's Choice Challenge tonight?
Sure.
All right, sounds good. Good luck tonight. See
Thank
you, Matt and Tommy, later.
Yep, good luck, fellas.
Cars on the inside this time. We'll be good.
All right, good luck, boys.
Thank you.
All righty, so there you have it. Ashton Crowder will go to the back of the field.
Yeah, I was fumbling around with my buttons there. Sorry. Yes, and now I got to move James back to Bandit Motorsports. There we go. All right. So Ashton Crowder, wow, taking the People's Choice Challenge in Richmond. Would not have expected that at all. So he will go to the tail of the field. That will give the pretty much the pole position to Heath Smith now. So Cody Griffin will start at 2nd. I'm just going to read the rows as they are, and we'll just know to move the inside up 1 here. Heath Smith, Rob Haynes, row 2. James Lehman, Scott Patton, teammates on row 3. Brennan Gray starting at 7th. Johnny Hamby to his outside. Michael Milfeld Jr. and Doug Heveron round out your top 10 starters. John Penn solo qualifies 11th. Will Kirk then in 12th. Charlie Widener and Jack Watts on row 7. Matthew Montgomery is back for the first time in quite some time. He starts at 15th. Brian McRoberts to his outside. Justin Michael and Andrew Schulte, last week's 1 and 2 finisher, are the first 2 drivers not to post a time. So they start in 17th and 18th. Greg Mull, Bill Paradise, Kerry Cleaver, Brad Slagle, Jack Nunemacher, Chris Boyles, and Jerry Bergeron is making his first start here tonight. Matt Williamson, what do we got here for track conditions, race strategy, whatever, here at Richmond?
Well, we're going to look at the weather. You can see we're going to be kind of pretty cool temperatures heading into the nighttime here. 79 degrees on the track temperature. So we talk about it a lot. When the track temperature is that cool, you really got to be careful here. On this first couple of laps, we saw a pretty big incident at the beginning of the last race, so that may be kind of prevalent in the drivers' minds here tonight to not have anything crazy happen here on the first lap. We are at 70% capacity for the fuel. That'll be about 65 to 70 laps here around Richmond. 4 extra sets of tires, 0 fast repairs, and a lot of laps here tonight for the drivers on a short track. 175 laps here tonight.
They can click by in a hurry if we stay green. But like you said, at a track like Kansas last week, we didn't even make it a mile and a half before that yellow laundry was waving. It's a lot tighter, a lot slippier here at Richmond. I think fuel strategy is going to be quite interesting. Yes, they can go 65 to 70. But are we going to see anybody stretch it out for a full fuel run here? You know you're making 2 pit stops. You can chop it up a lot of different ways. So we'll have to see how it's all going to shake out here. That's the nice thing is we don't have to wait much longer. They are doubled up and working their way through turns 3 and 4. Cody Griffin and Heath Smith on the front row. And we are underway at Richmond. Griffin on the outside will take the advantage. Smith under fire from Lehman.
Some contact a little bit farther back. We're 3 wide.
Ashton Crowder up several positions here as lap 1 is in the books with Griffin in the lead. Lehman is going up to second. Oh, trouble. John Pansola goes around off the front bumper of Will Kirk, and they're starting to stack up.
Oh, yeah, you see Charlie Widener's rolling backwards here.
Yeah, Widener got some help in that situation as well. And we're under caution here on lap 2. It started with Pansola getting a little bit loose, and I don't think Will Kirk checked up in time. It was weird because I was watching Pansola just out of chance there when that all started. Never happens.
Yeah, let's go ahead, rack this replay, and take a look here. Headed down into turn 1 through turns 1 and 2. Kirk right on the yellow line. Pansula was working more the middle and then comes down because he gets loose. You can see the rear end of the truck kicked out a bit. And Kirk just doesn't really get checked up, gets into the back of the 01. And then drivers start trying to scramble. Widener tries to get around those 2, and he's going to get turned here. You can see Justin Michael, maybe a little bit of contact in that one as well, but everybody else stays pretty clean.
Race officials are currently trying to bribe Ashton Crowder to stay in the back of the field. And I don't think it's working. Crowder wanted clarification on the rule if it had changed from a top 5 for the bonus points or if he had to go up and win. I think it is still top 5, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I said the wrong thing a minute ago. But now the discussion has shifted to money being paid out if Crowder will finish last in this race. I don't think he's going to take it. That's just a guess, though.
No, there's too many competitive bones in Ashton Crowder's body. I don't think that's going to happen.
5 drivers onto pit road under this caution period. Of course, most of them were in the vicinity of the accident there. Ryan McRoberts, Matthew Montgomery, Bill Paradise, Charlie Widener, and Jack Nunemacher.
And he talked about, or Michael Milfelt, anyways, talked about letting the race come to you. And this is a little bit of what he was talking about here. Really tight racing, big clusters of trucks together on the restarts. And you have an incident, and now you have to do another one. So you just gotta be careful. You can't let anybody really buy you, but you can't force the issue too much here in the early goings.
Cody Griffin with outright control of the field this time will still like the outside. James Lehman had just gotten up to second as the caution was coming out. So that puts him on the inside of the front row with Rob Haynes and Heath Smith on row 2. Ooh, stacking up here. It'll stop after about row 4 or 5. I think that stack up started because James Lehman had a nose out in front of Cody Griffin, and Lehman showing a black flag right now. And he is going to come and serve it.
Yep.
Very noble. Unfortunately, that will take him out of this race, at least for quite some time, as we are shuffling behind. Kirk underneath of Milfelt to try and move up to 6th.
And Smith trying to get past Brennan Gregg in the 18 here. Those two have battled side by side since the restart.
Gregg gonna fight back. There is speed through the middle here in 3 and 4. You don't want to find yourself on the top of 3 and 4. Saw some drivers making the top in 1 and 2 work in practice.
Oh, there goes Kirk!
More trouble for Will Kirk. That is a hard shot.
Man, and Chris Voiles, he has a lot of damage on this incident as well.
I think that started. He was still side by side with Michael Milfeld, if I'm not mistaken. Not sure if Kirk came up or if Milfeld came down. But either way, it's no bueno here for driver number 9.
Man, let's go ahead and take a look. This is the second incident that Kirk's been involved in early on here. We try to figure out what happens to the 9. Oh, and it looks like Milfelt got up into the wall a bit and then came down, and Kirk was squeezed right there, and they made contact. I'm going to back it up. Let's go ahead and see if we can find a little bit of a better angle. Go ahead and go to that far chase cam. Here coming out of turn 2. And yeah, Milfelt just gets loose. He gets tied up into the wall and then gets loose trying to pull it off the wall, which in turn punts Will Kirk down into the inside wall. And then you see Voiles. I'm not sure what happened to him either, but he goes for a ride, and the front bumper of that thing gets absolutely torn to bits.
Yeah, Will Kirk will be the first retiree of the evening, I do believe. And Voiles also with a meatball flag after some pretty hard contact. That did save James Lehman from going, I think, a second lap down, but he's still 1 lap down. I don't think he gets the lucky dog here. But that'll put him in position to get the lucky dog should we have another caution. And with 2 cautions in the first 10 laps, I would imagine we're due for a third sooner rather than later. That's just a guess, though.
Well, you never know. Sometimes you get a couple early on here, and the drivers are thinking, all right, we just want to get some laps run here.
That's true. That is exactly what happened to Kansas last week. We had 2 very quick cautions and then went caution-free the rest of the way. Cody Griffin leading, Rob Haynes in second, Brennan Gregg in third, Heath Smith and Scott Patton, your top 5.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a different top 5 than we've seen at a lot of the races here tonight, but a lot of speed shown from those drivers right there.
Griffin has had plenty of speed this season, has had some bad luck and some incidents not go his way. Same to Rob Haynes. Brennan Gregg has been part-time this season. Really, the only time that we've mentioned Brendan Gregg at all was he was in the thick of a couple of good battles at Mid-Ohio a few weeks ago. But outside of that, it's been a quiet season for Gregg. And Heath Smith has been at almost every race this season. And, I mean, we haven't hardly called his name out at all. So it's awesome to see Heath up here. And Scott Patton is on his front foot finally after a tough start to the season. Things are starting to go his way. I would not be at all surprised under a long green run here to see him work his way up to either second or first. Pace truck is off. Cody Griffin still with control of the field on the outside. And we are back to green.
Rob Haynes made sure he did not jump that restart like Lehman did, but not a great start here. Griffin out to a sizable lead already.
Here's Smith on the outside, looking to clear down, and will be able to if he chooses. Heath Smith to second.
And look at Michael Milfelt. He passes Brennan Gregg around the outside here. It has a run on Haynes.
Don't look now, but Ashton Crowder just outside of the top 10. Still a lot of trucks to pass, though.
Yeah, a lot of trucks to pass. And
Jack Watts. Oh, truck around Ryan McRoberts at turn 4. We're back under caution. And I just mentioned, or was going to mention, that Jack Watts got really, really loose in front of Greg Ball. It sort of stacked them up. But Ryan McRoberts, a separate deal behind them. I think he got tagged.
yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. McRoberts is in the 23. And you see Watts, he mentioned it, Watts loose there up towards the top. Yeah, and this is Kerry Cleaver just sends it a little too far there into turn 3, and he punts the back end of McRoberts and spins him around there.
Yeah, Kerry. I mean, McRoberts, looked like he was just a skosh loose there. Maybe that's why he was in the middle in the first place, but Cleaver cleared 3 truck lengths into the turn. He was going in way deeper there.
There's McRoberts coming out of the pits, trying to get some damage fixed.
And damage like that, I mean, just a kiss of the wall with the back end of the truck there. That's not going to kill him. What he doesn't want is to start burning up sets of tires here. But it certainly could have gone worse.
Certainly. I mean, we get 4 extra sets of tires here in Max Velo, so, you know, you can actually burn a set pretty early. And to be honest, he may have. It's not a bad idea if you're going to go to the pits anyways here. Put a set on. I mean, give yourself a little bit of an advantage here. You know you're going to have 2 more pit stops, but you'll still be left with an extra set of tires later on if you need it. So, not a bad idea at all to go ahead and take a set.
And yes, you are right. I was thinking 3 sets, which we have at mile and a half and up, but anything under a mile and a half in road courses, there are 4 extra sets of tires in the pits. So, yes, indeed. He's okay to put on a set right here and still be good for the rest of the race. James Lehman, for whatever reason, did not get the lucky dog this time around. I'm not sure why. So he's still trapped a lap down. He's got an awful lot of speed in that 50 truck, and I know he wants to use it. I want to see him use it too.
Well, we've had 3 cautions so far tonight, and I'm sure he's looking for another one.
Mm-hmm. Cody Griffin over the radio will elect the top. So that would give Heath Smith a look here on the inside of the front row.
And we mentioned Milfeld. Milfeld starting on the outside second row here, and he had a lot of speed there before that caution came out. Made 2 or 3 passes. So he's put himself in a good position to get to the front early here.
Absolutely.
I'd say he's letting the race come to him.
A plan executed up to this point, but still a long way to go. 150 plus laps left here at Richmond, and that's without overtimes. Back underway. Oh, Heath Smith not getting a great restart here. Gets a bump and 2, 3 from Haynes on the inside. Here's Milfeld to the outside for second.
Yeah, Rob Haynes had to put the super speedway package on there for a second and push Smith down the front stretch.
Smith has a look, but a little bit loose there on corner exit. Here's Patton out of the outside. Here's Haynes, 3 wide for third.
And Andrew Schulte has snuck into the top 5 all of a sudden.
From 18th up to 6th, and now more.
Smith awfully tight there, nearly got into the wall. Ashton Crowder trying to work his way through the field. He nearly had contact with Hamby down the backstretch.
But Crowder is now, I do believe, in the top 10 or 11th at least. So he's right here.
Oh!
Griffin leading Milfeld and Patton, your top 3. Haynes going to hang on to 4th for now, but Schulte is all over it.
And Schultz is driving this thing hard, but he's always aggressive with the truck, and we saw him nearly get into the wall on the backstretch.
3 wide for a moment. Justin Michael sat behind Greg and Heveron. This is for 7th.
Yeah, speaking of Heveron, here he comes on the inside of Michael, looking to pass the 18 of Greg as well.
I think Michael giving some momentum, if he can at all even, to Greg there, trying to get it done on the outside. Now he will follow suit.
And now Patton trying to work on Milfeld. Couldn't quite get to the inside there. Cody Griffin, great start. Everybody else battling behind him. He's gotten out to a second lead over the rest of the field, but rest of the field still battling here. Patton underneath of Milfeld.
Patton with great pace here. He made up time on Cody Griffin while taking second away from Michael Milfeld. So Patton to look at the charge.
Well, that's part of Milfeld's strategy as well. No reason to fight it too hard right now. Still a long ways to go.
This may be the green flag run that a lot of these drivers are looking for. It's certainly been the longest one of the night, but that's not saying a whole lot. Griffin, Patton, Milfeld, Haynes, and Schulte, your top 5. Schulte under fire. So is Brendan Gregg.
And Justin Michael trying to make fairly quick work of Greg here. Gets it done in 1 lap. And you mentioned it, Schulte is all over the back of Rob Haynes in the 199.
One driver utilizing the top in 1 and 2 and the middle in 3 and 4. Who else but Ashton Crowder? He is going to look to get underneath of Greg Mall to try and sneak up to 9th.
Oh! So easy to get tight and start drifting high in these corners. Crowder able to complete the pass for now. Mall looking for the crossover. Dives to the inside of Crowder.
Crowder is one of the only drivers that can be comfortable, or looks comfortable at least, on the top side there in 1 and 2. And uses the momentum boost and takes a shot there from Maul. Up front, it's only half a second now between Griffin and Patton. Gap is closing rapidly.
And Haynes is doing a great job of shutting the door on Andrew Schulte. Schulte wants to get underneath. He's going to go for it here. Wow,
Big
sends it in.
Big send not only from him, but also for Justin Michael on Heath Smith. They both took it in deep there into 1, and it paid off.
I can't believe Schulte was able to make it stick. He really didn't drift up the racetrack at all there. Great move from the 81.
2 truck lengths in closing. The advantage for Cody Griffin has gone away. Griffin had top 5 pace in practice. Scott Patton had top 2 pace in practice. Conditions have certainly changed since then, but the pace difference is still there, it looks like.
Let's go ahead and go on board here with Scott Patton as he tries to run down race leader Cody Griffin. Watch the wheel work.
And take notes.
I certainly need to. Does a great job of getting off on the entry pretty early and really getting good turn through the corner. And then smooth back onto the throttle. That's what it's all about.
Ashton Crowder has gotten past Heath Smith, now working underneath of Rob Haynes. This is for 6th. And Haynes has to roll out of it now to find himself in the wall. Haven't really talked about how tough turn 2 exit is up to this point tonight. It's probably on my top 5 least favorite corner exit on iRacing list.
Definitely. It's, man, that wall, it seems like it just jumps right out at you when you're on the exit of turn 2 there. So easy to slide up into the wall on exit, and we've seen it a lot already tonight. And we know the caliber of drivers we have here in the Maximum Velocity Racing League. So if they're touching the wall early on here, you know just how difficult it is.
Seeing a lot of drivers starting to break loose here. I talked to a couple of drivers who said that this truck, this setup in particular, feels like it rotates off the left rear tire, which is going to make things tough towards the end of the run. You're really going to feel slidey. I personally would rather feel loose than tight, but maybe not at a short track.
Yeah, it just makes it hard to trust the truck on entry. You kind of feel like you almost have to tiptoe it in there, otherwise that back end's going to kick out on you. And you mentioned it earlier, Crowder really working the top side here in the corners, maybe trying to save a little bit of tire and get big runs on Michael. Might be the best way to try to make a pass. Here he goes, gets a run on Michael, dives to the inside.
We saw this pass happen on the last lap last week in Kansas, but it was for Crowder to get back on the lead lap.
Michael's trying to put up a fight on the outside here, but you just lose so much ground on entry and running the middle or the top here.
Scott Patton is right here. He's starting to look a little bit tight off of turn 4. Or maybe just trying to drift up the track, try something different.
Yeah, you see he goes for a little bit of an inside-out move there through turns 1 and 2.
Griffin playing
And-
great defense here on the bottom.
Kind of trying the same through turns 3 and 4 as well. So Patton just trying to manufacture a run with Griffin protecting the bottom. Patton trying to get a little bit more speed down the straights.
Now, we've had 3 cautions up to this point, but we thought we might start to see some pit stops around lap 50.
Well, we've had 3 cautions and didn't run many green flag laps as Crowder is able to clear Schulte, but now Schulte fighting back.
We've seen these two battle a lot and battle hard this season.
Oh, man, these drivers did not get an opportunity to run many green flag laps in the first 20. A lot of caution laps ran there, so that may have pushed the window back a bit.
Doug Hevrun has been on and off pit road, but he has been the only one thus far under green. He's actually going to come out right in front of the leaders here as Cody Griffin just about had a tank slapper out of 2.
Now, Crowder, he'll get through on Millfelt. Schulte still trying to fight back and hang on to these two. Millfelt will come back with a crossover here into turns 1 and 2.
Oh, Griffin is all out of shape. Here's Patton to the inside. Griffin driving it in a lane higher than Patton. But Scott, I'm sure, sees the 27 getting closer and closer and knows that it's go time. But Cody Griffin is looking out of sorts here, especially out of turn 2. A lot better that time.
And lap times have fallen off right at about a second a lap right now.
Just worked through the 022 of Jack Nunemacher to put him a lap down. Lap 51 on the board.
Those two continue to battle. A little bit farther back, Brennan Gregg trying to take care of Heath Smith. Smith went backwards big time early, has now kind of fought back here. And Rob Haynes has dropped a few spots. Rob Haynes down to 9th behind these two battling. And then it's James Lehman who's a lap down, but has worked his way this far up into the field.
Yeah, he's got outstanding pace. Now the problem is the leader is working through lap trucks, so he is out of position to get the lucky dog. Should the caution come out. Cody Griffin weathered the storm, at least up to this point. There are a couple of points where he looked like he was about to wreck. He was that loose. But looks calm and collected now. Scott Patton, I'm sure, has desperately been hoping for anything to happen, but it doesn't seem like it's going to. What does seem like it's going to happen is Ashton Crowder making his way into this battle.
Oh, wow, nearly contact. That was the 022 of Nunemacher, who is being put a lap down here by the rest of the field. Lehman and Haynes nearly got into him. And Schulte finally able to put the move on Michael Millfelt. Here comes Ashton Crowder.
Crowder to the pits. He said he wanted to get there early. And he got here early, lap 55.
Well, what Crowder is also trying to do here is trying to pass Griffin and Patton on
Without
pit strategy and not have to pass them on the track. Makes his life a lot easier.
Yeah, you're seeing how difficult it is to make a pass with the speed like Scott Patton. And that has now dragged Heath Smith and Rob Haynes onto pit road. Quick to answer there.
Leaders continue to stay out, though. Leaders are going to stick to their strategy.
Ashton Crowder off pit road. The only other problem with pitting early is if the caution were to come out, you trap yourself in a precarious position, to say the least. This Crowder is a lap down.
Patton's still sitting a truck length or two off the back of Griffin. Maybe pushed a little too hard to get up here, and the tires have started to go away on him a bit. But he's made up the track position that he needed at least. And Milfeld started blinking quite a bit here, so Milfeld sitting in fourth, hoping that that kind of corrects itself. Patton still looking for the race lead here. He has been all over Cody Griffin. He dives to the inside. Griffin's going to cover it up.
He's got to run off. And Griffin loose again. This might be his best look yet. Looking for drive off. Griffin's going to win the drag race down the backstretch and hang on. But still the door is open.
Yeah, Patton trying to keep that nose to the inside. Just couldn't quite make it work there. He's losing a lot of speed on the straightaways when he enters that low into the corner.
Greg Mullen to pit road.
Jack Watts, Charlie Widener battling here. This is just inside the top 10. Charlie Widener is going to grab 8th here. And Jack Watts coming down to pit road.
Matt Montgomery and Jack Nunemacher have also been on and off pit road. Oh, Ryan McRoberts nearly into the left rear quarter panel of the race leader. It was close.
So race leaders going for the long run here. If you're going to break this race up into thirds, you would have came in around lap 58, 59. Of course, drivers probably feel like they can push it a little bit more because they had a lot of caution laps here in this first stint, rather.
Yeah, we were thinking about 65 to 70 laps on a full fuel run. As here goes Scott Patton to the inside of Cody Griffin for the lead again. This time with lap trucks behind, trying to unlap. 3 wide, Greg Mull to the inside to try and get back to the lead lap. That's actually to get to 1 lap down.
And you see Mull just able to absolutely blast through there on new tires.
Yes. Oh.
Patton and Griffin still battling side by side here.
Inches apart.
And this is exactly what Ashton Crowder wants. Crowder, able to just run laps here, will likely have a large time advantage over these two now when they come out of pit road.
Well, he is in the back of this shot here, about to unlap himself. So he will have gained a ton of time here on these two. If he's able to get through without issue, that is.
These two not giving it up, though. They're going to slow Crowder down a bit here. Unless Crowder...
Patton loose!
Oh!
And that will cost Patton the battle for the lead, at least for now. And this is not what either of the leaders want to see. Crowder making it work on the outside. Griffin is loose.
No, if I had to guess, they are coming down pit road this time, probably waiting for Crowder to not be a lap down anymore. They can't trap him down if a caution comes out anymore, so might as well come in now.
Nope.
Wow,
They're going to run it out.
They, I mean, almost all of the top 10 going for the big long run here to start the race.
Kerry Cleaver has been on pit road. I keep hearing crashing noises. I think that's Michael Milfeld. Not actually crashing, but lagging on and off the track. So it keeps throwing me off.
Pansula's gotten around Brad Slagle. That moves Pansula into ninth for now. We'll see how they shake out after pit stops. And here comes Johnny Hamby. So finally somebody out of the top 10 has come down pit road here. I'm guessing everybody else is probably close. Here comes Scott Patton. Schulte and Griffin stay out for another one. Justin Michael Milfeld, they stay out as well.
Yeah, Patton the only one in this time. Will this bring Cody Griffin down pit road? No. Michael Milfeld will be pitting this time. Ryan McRoberts has hit pit road.
And Patton finally coming out of pit road here. Already 15 seconds behind Ashton Crowder, and
wow.
Until his tires get warm, he's going to continue to lose time a little bit here as Michael Milfeld, Brendan Gregg all down pit road.
John Pansula will be pitting this time. It's still waiting to see the race leader, Cody Griffin, hit pit road.
Cody Griffin could be trying to solidify the most laps led here as well.
That is possible. Andrew Schulte is on pit road. Cody Griffin's pitting this time.
Was not going to able to quite do it all on the first run, but pretty close. He's not going to have to lead too many more.
Yeah, but he wants to lead the last one. I think he's been one of the best drivers not to win this season, and there's been a few of them. Cody Griffin's had fantastic pace all season and has yet to come away with the trophy. Brad Slagle also on pit road.
And that makes it everybody. Everybody has now come down pit road. At least at some point. Now, Charlie Widener, who's currently leading, actually came down pit road on lap 3. So Widener is still staying out on the long run here.
And I do believe James Lehman has yet to come in under this cycle as well, because remember, he was a lap down. He is now showing the last truck on the lead lap.
And Milfeld continues to have problems with the internet connection. Greg Mall behind Milfeld right now. And Schulte and Watts battling. A little bit of contact there between those two. Cody Griffin trying to work through traffic. He is all bottled up here.
And that was James Lehman. He just went past, and James is looking pretty loose on these rear tires.
Oh! no!
Yeah.
I think Lehman's trying to get to pit road. Nope, not this time.
Not this time. But who is the race leader? Charlie Widener. So that will give the lead for the first time this race to Ashton Crowder. And a huge gap back to Heath Smith. Over 9 seconds. That is incredible work here by Crowder to this point.
We talked about that gap for Scott Patton was around 15 seconds when he came out of pit road. It is now down to 10 seconds. So Patton has cut into that gap a lot here in the last 5-6 laps.
Patton will still have to get around Heath Smith, but he is sizing him up right now. As Scott Patton underneath will take second. I'm no mathematician, but I think we're around halfway in this race, are we not? Pretty close.
Yes, 87 would be like right at 174.
There you go. So, yeah, approaching halfway. Halfway now, actually. So if you're hanging out with us, let us know. Drop your predictions in the chat. Let us know who you're rooting for. All but one driver who took the green flag is still with us. Actually, all but two drivers, Chris Boyle and Will Kirk, out of the race after caution number 2. But everybody else still motoring around Richmond Raceway. A lot of dogs still in the fight here. James Lehman finally has come to pit road.
And Cody Griffin trying to work his way up through the field. He just got around Rob Haynes, so Griffin up to 4th now. He ran 4 extra laps more than Scott Patton, and the gap between those two right now is about 2.7 seconds.
Now you're waiting for me, aren't you?
That is the exact number. And Griffin now working around Heath Smith. So Smith, who came in really early, Smith came in, I think this maybe the same lap or lap after Ashton Crowder, is going to get shuffled back to 4th here.
So we have taken the top 3 from before pit stops and jumbled them up. Nobody's running in the same spot. Well, I guess other than Scott Patton. So really we flipped 1st and 3rd. How about that?
There you go.
Yep.
Justin Michaels gotten around Andrew Schulte as well. Now on the inside of Rob Haynes. Rob Haynes on old tires as well. Came in the same lap as Heath Smith. So already nearly 40 laps on those tires. Those two came in on lap 56. And Patton continuing to dig into the lead that Ashton Crowder has. The gap is 8 seconds now, so Patton's gained a couple seconds here in the last about 10 laps.
It's Crowder, Patton, Griffin, Smith, and Michael, your top 5. Schulte, Haynes, Milfelt, Gregg, and Watts, your top 10. 11 trucks on the lead lap. Johnny Hamby right now is the last one on the lead lap, and actually he's just moved himself into the top 10, has gotten around Jack Watts. That puts Watts on the bubble. Crowder not too far behind.
You see Crowder in the shot there. About 3/4 of the straightaway behind Jack Watts. As Haynes continues to move backwards on older tires. Michael Milfelt will get through.
last lap for Ashton Crowder, a 23:08. Last lap for Scott Patton, a 22:81. So a couple of tenths quicker. Pretty much every lap, like you said, for the last 10 or 15 laps for Scott Patton. But still, quite a bit of work to do. Especially since I wouldn't expect it to be too much longer before Crowder is back on pit road. Again, you can make it 70 laps on a tank, or 77, 78 laps from the finish of this one. So, what do you think? A 50-lap stint to the finish here?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be... Well, the latest that he could come down pit road probably is around lap 125 or so, which would give him exactly 50 laps to the finish. I would say he probably runs this out to, I don't know, at least lap 110 for sure.
If that's the case, we got at least another 10 laps. Now that's good math.
Now the question is, what does Scott Patton do?
Jack Nunemacher, trying to stay high for the race leader, rode the wall all the way through turns 3 and 4. Hopefully he didn't damage the truck too much doing that. And yes, that is a good question. How does Scott Patton answer that?
The advance from Patton has slowed up a bit here. Patton's only gained about 3/10 in the last 2 or 3 laps. So still gaining, but much slower than it had been.
Yeah, 1/10 and a half that last lap. So it is definitely loaded up a bit, but it's under 7 seconds now. And Cody Griffin, with a few lap fresher tires than Patton, is only about 1.25 seconds behind. So Patton may have to shift the defense here before too much longer. Justin Michael and Andrew Schulte were pretty close together there. Michael doing his best to try and get away.
Yeah, Schulte's been chasing Michael ever since the pit stops. Those two have basically been going through the slower trucks together. If Michael goes through, they realize that kind of need to get out of the way, and then Schulte's right there.
Of course, Michael the winner last week, Schulte finished second, so Schulte's been looking at the back of this Daniel Defense 87 truck a lot here. Laps are ticking away. It's been a while since we've had a caution. Hate to even say that.
Oh, wow. We're on board with Schulte, and he got really loose.
Well, almost jinxed it.
He is making up time on Justin Michael. Justin Michael loose that time.
And Justin did not sound too enthusiastic about coming to Richmond tonight when we talked to him last week. Would always be happy with a top 5 run, I think. Schulte looks to the outside now. He looked awfully skitty as the race leader is now on pit road. Lap 108. Pretty much called it.
Yeah, a little bit sooner than we thought, but pretty close. Lap 109 goes up on the board as Crowder crosses the line in the pits.
So that gives the lead to Scott Patton. And I would imagine with the lead being split up now amongst 4 drivers that it's probably Cody Griffin leading the most laps here.
Yeah, definitely. I think Griffin will likely get those bonus points for the most laps led. Now, I'm curious to see how long Scott Patton stays out on the track. He came in on lap 74, so if he comes into pit on lap 125, it basically will give him 2 50-lap stints to end the race. I think that's probably the number he's looking for. Either that or he's just going to try to stay out as long as he can until Crowder passes him again to try to maybe trap Crowder a lap down. And there goes Crowder past Andrew Schulte and Justin Michael, who are battling here.
Just like last time, Heath Smith and Greg Mullen came in the lap after Ashton Crowder. Jack Watts has been on pit road now as well. The gap is still shrinking between Patton and Griffin. It's about 1 second and change. So Griffin just marginally quicker every lap than Scott Patton.
Schultz still trying to work on Justin Michael here.
And if it's Scott Patton's goal to keep Ashton Crowder trapped a lap down as long as possible, it's not going to last much longer. Crowder working over Cody Griffin right now. And through already.
Yeah, if he passes Patton this early, Patton's probably just going to run to his number. And if I had to guess, that number's right around 125.
So another 10 laps for Patton before he will come to pit road, at least according to master strategist Matt Williamson. As there goes Ashton Crowder to put himself back on the lead lap. Heath Smith, I think, will cycle out to the top 10, but this is for him to get back to 1 lap down here should he get through on Scott Patton.
And Mike Millfeld down pit road now.
Yes, indeed, John Pansilla was in ahead of him.
And we missed that Schultz has gotten around Justin Michael. And now Jack Watson, fresh tires, inserting himself in between them.
You had mentioned that Michael was starting to look pretty unsteady on those tires.
Yeah, well, both of these two are. I think they were just pushing each other so hard that the tires have started to go away for both of them. Both of them have made a couple of mistakes here in the last 10 laps. But Michael now running a little bit wide, looks to be really struggling. Let's go ahead and take a replay on this pass here. As we back it up, the 81 of Schulte, he runs an outside to in line to get a good run down the straightaway. Allows him to get to the inside of Michael. And Schulte just able to get good turn through the middle of the corner. And then clears down into turn 1.
Oh, Michael nearly around on the back straightaway. He had just started moving up to the middle and the top and really pushed it hard out of turn 2, and he still looks awfully loose here.
Ashton Crowder starting to work his way through the top 10 for position now. Just got through Charlie Widener. Johnny Hamby's up next. The Crowder back into the top 5 now. And those drivers still need to come down pit road, I think.
That's insane. Brennan Gregg and Rob Haynes have been on pit road. Yeah, I'm sure Justin Michael's working to a number because I would have hit the panic button by now. Either that or he's showboating and having fun. It might be coming this time.
Well, at this point, he's definitely kind of working. Oh, did he make?
Yeah, he hit the water barrels there with the back of the truck.
All right.
Oh, man.
Trying to give himself a short track aero advantage.
Yeah. Pull the old Martin Truex and just take the entire right front bumper over the right front tire off. Keep it cool. They don't give you that option, unfortunately, in the sim.
No, they do not.
Charlie Widener, Johnny Hamby also on pit road. Matthew Montgomery as well.
And here comes Scott Patton. What lap is it, Tommy?
It is lap 125, Matt Williamson.
Man, it feels so good when I'm right every once in a while.
You've been the primo crew chief of the night.
That moves Cody Griffin into the lead, and Griffin is going to definitely let it be known that he's led the most laps here tonight.
Yes. Again, he went 4 laps longer than Scott Patton last time. Will he take all 4 laps this time? The nice thing is, if the caution were to come out right now, there are only 4 trucks on the lead lap. Actually, 3. Big Griffin, Schulte, and Crowder. Oh, man. So loose at this point in the run. Doug Heveron into pit road. Michael Milfeld has just gotten past Brad Slagle to move up to 6th.
Griffin has worked past that 4 lap mark.
Yes, he has.
But coming down pit road now.
Only by 1.
Andrew Schulte stays out. Schulte's been out on the track for it's been about 55 laps now.
Schulte nearly found his way into the outside wall there.
Oh, and more contact with McRoberts.
Yeah, those two had come pretty close in the last couple of laps.
Griffin still getting service here. He will come out behind Milfelt, Justin Michael, and Scott Patton.
And Patton gonna find his way back on the lead lap, but he sends Rick Roberts into the infield grass. Rick Roberts, I don't think hits anything. Was trying to communicate with the people around him when that happened.
And now Andrew Schulte comes down pit road. So that will give the lead back to the 27.
There goes Crowder. Crowder with a huge advantage here. But it
Yeah,
was,
that gap between Patton and Crowder is back to 15 seconds.
Yep. So it was 10 when they came out of the pits last time. It got worked down to about 6 3/4. Now it's back up to 15.
Much less of a tire advantage for Patton here this time around, though.
Now this would be 2 laps in clean air for both of the top 2. It'll be interesting to see what their times are. 22:869 for Crowder last time around. And for Scott Patton, 22:4. So still about just a tick under half a second quicker for Scott Patton. But again, that's not enough for Patton to catch and pass Crowder by the end of this race.
Schulte on brand new tires. He works his way around Heath Smith. And Millfeld will get around Cody Griffin. Or excuse me, other way around. Griffin will get around Millfeld.
So that'll leave Griffin to try and track down Justin Michael, who had quite a fun time, it looked like, before and into the pits. That'll be for a spot on the podium. It's still about... Oh, caution is out! For the first time in over 100 laps. And
Wow.
I'm not sure why. I'm not seeing anything out on the track. Do you have anything on your incident here?
It was Justin Michael. I was watching it.
Oh, no.
And to be honest, I was looking at timing and scoring, and I looked up, and Michael was backwards on the backstretch. I don't know if he just got loose and hit the wall or exactly what happened. I'll have to look at a replay here.
It looked to me like just a solo spin down the back, or coming out of turn 2.
A rare solo mistake here for Justin Michael. We do not see that one very often. Coming down here into turns 1 and 2. We talked about how loose the truck was, the setup, and how it's kind of hard to trust. Getting back onto the gas after diving it down into the corner, and Michael just breaks it loose when he gets back into the throttle. Does not hit the outside wall, though, like I thought he did. He's able to keep it off both the outside and the inside wall, which is incredible.
I mean, even before he came in to get fresh rubber, Justin is looking like he was having a hell of a time out there. So. But the good news for him, there are now only 6 trucks on the lead lap. This will give the free pass to Andrew Schulte. So it'll be Crowder, Patton, Griffin, Millfelt, Michael, and Schulte. But has anybody stayed out for the waiver rounds here? I'm sure at least a couple have.
Yeah, quite a few here.
Ryan McRoberts is 4 laps down. Matthew Montgomery will get back on the lead lap. Heath Smith, actually Montgomery 1 lap down right now, so he was 2 laps down. Heath Smith will be back on the lead lap, as will Rob Haynes, Jack Watts, Johnny Hamby, and Charlie Widener. All will be back on the lead lap. Brad Slagle will be 1 lap down. So that, I think in total, will put 13 trucks on the lead lap, which is a bit more than 6, like I had just mentioned.
Yes, it is.
But now, Crowder and Patton, they got close together on the track one time for about 3 laps before Crowder came into pit. We've yet to see Crowder make an on-track pass for the lead. So what will Scott Patton have for Ashton Crowder and vice versa?
And we know Cody Griffin has great short run speed as well.
Yes.
As well, I mean, Michael Milfa had great short run speed also there in that beginning of this race. So, a lot of players in this one. All of a sudden.
And we saw at Iowa a fairly dominant performance from Ashton Crowder, much like this tonight. A short pit to take the lead, led a lot of laps off and on sequence after that. But then on a late race restart, later than this, in fact, it's almost all came crumbling down around him.
Well, it's popcorn time, folks. If you didn't have it out already, it's time to get the butter on the stove, get the corn in the popper, and this one's about to get good.
Michael Mofeld's still blinking there on the outside of row number 2. That'll throw another wrinkle into things. But it's short track racing time. Crowder and Patton. Crowder, the first driver we've seen restart from the inside with control, and it's going to pay off for him, at least for now. Here's Griffin to the inside of Scott Patton trying to take second. Oh,
Griffin's loose!
Griffin is around. Nobody's going to hit him. Heath Smith gets up into the wall. But we are under caution again.
Wow. And that's what happens when you try to push too hard on cold tires.
And you know what else? Cautions breed cautions.
They sure do.
So behind this accident, Heath Smith is already loose as the spin is happening. I think he and Andrew Schultz are going to make a little bit of contact. But for Cody Griffin, I mean, just a solo spin, going for it on the bottom.
Certainly going for it. You see, he dives and tries to clear Patton. He nearly does, but Patton's able to hang tough on the outside, and Griffin tries to get the power down early to stick with Patton on the run down the backstretch. And when he does, this is very much what happened to Justin Michael as well, except it's for cold tires this time. For Griffin. Griffin goes for the spin here on the backstretch. Or I guess more of a slide than a spin, but incident nonetheless. And makes just very minimal contact with the inside wall.
But lucky for Griffin, he doesn't have very far to go back. And I was still wrong on the 13 number about drivers on the lead lap. There are now 9 drivers on the lead lap. Some of those drivers did take the wave around. Some of them did end up coming down pit road to get fresh tires and fuel for the end of this one. So no such opportunity will be afforded this time. But the lucky dog does go to the hero from Iowa, nearly anyway, Charlie Widener.
Well, it's time to heat that butter back up, folks.
What's the stovetop popcorn? I can't think of the name of it. Like wrapped in foil.
Jiffy Pop.
That's what I was thinking, but I was like, no, I'm thinking of Jiffy Lube.
Nope, it's Jiffy Pop.
Jiffy Pop. So I was right.
The classic that's the classic campfire popcorn right there.
Shout out to Jiffy Pop. Give us money, please. We believe in your product. Obviously.
Well, yeah, we won't get into the semantics.
Okay.
But if old Orville's out there somewhere. Just know that we're also available. Boy, you see everybody cleaning the tires up, trying to get some heat into them. They saw what happened to Griffin there, and they're thinking, I don't want that to happen to me.
Certainly not. Griffin especially scrubbing and scrubbing hard, as now I think we're doubling up.
See Crowder all the way to the inside wall there.
And the flat of the track there should provide a little more heat, a little more grip. So he's got the right idea. Michael Milfeld still having connection issues. Crowder again with control, takes the bottom, back to it.
Much better start for Patton this time, but will still have Michael on his inside.
Oh, Pensula into Greg Mall, and he goes around. I'm not sure.
On the apron, though.
Yep, on the apron, and we're going to stay green. Crowder with the lead. Michael slots in line back in third. Schultz looking to clear around the outside. Takes the spot for Milfeld now. On offense already, underneath the 87.
Schultz has had a lot of great runs on the short runs to end races this season. Wow, Michael super loose, nearly got down to the 81. Schultz will dive to the inside.
Crowder with the purple lap of the race. First driver into the 21s as Schultz is all sorts of loose.
Cody Griffin right behind him, working around Milfeld.
At least I think, anyway. Schultz a half a lane higher on entry than Griffin. Able to gap him a little bit down the backstretch. But it's Ashton Crowder out front by 0.7 of a second over Scott Patton and Justin Michael. Schultz and Griffin, your top five. Milfeld, Widener, Haynes, and Gregg through the 9th position. Inside of 20 laps to go. Griffin got loose out of 2. Milfeld tries to take a shot. Not going to pan out.
Schultz cleared Griffin, now starting to work on Michael.
Charlie Widener taking a look to the inside of Michael Milfeld to try and move up to 6th. And will do so.
Able to get it done in one corner. We have not seen that much here tonight. Great move by Widener.
Gap is now a second up front. Crowder started to pull away.
We see even in kind of the mid-run, driver's still struggling with the trucks here on board with Andrew Schulte, and see him having to work the wheel as he kind of feels like he's getting a little bit loose on exit of the corners.
Yeah, Schulte and Griffin in.
Oh,
There goes Michael! Oh, he saves it. I was just about to say, those three all together have looked pretty loose on turn number 2 exit specifically, which is where Michael went around last time, mind you. And Griffin.
Man. Now we saw Schulte struggling with it, and all of a sudden, as Schulte was turning the wheel to the right to try to keep his on the straight and narrow, Justin Michael in front of him was completely sideways.
Up front, almost a 2-second advantage for Ashton Crowder as he comes to the 10 to go. Patton has pulled a nice gap back to Andrew Schulte, who is trying to get away from these two. All three of them dancing out of turn 2. Charlie Widener has gotten pretty close to Justin Michael here. Within a truck length now. And I tell you again, who is working their way up through the field to show off the pace that they've got, is James Lehman, who again is the first truck 1 lap down.
Yeah, Lehman's been battling all night.
He would be in 8th right now if he were on the lead lap. And I still don't know why he didn't get the lucky dog on the second caution of the race. He was the only truck 1 lap down, or the third caution rather. But oh well, he was still looking to get a top 10 here. There's only 9 trucks on the lead lap. 5 to go. It's all Crowder out in front. It's all Patton in second. And looking like it's going to be all Schulte for third unless something changes here. These rear tires may have something to say about it.
Well, Schulte's been trying to extend this gap. Hasn't been incredibly successful, but he's definitely maintained.
Three laps to go. Oh. Michael really sent it in there on Griffin and nearly piled into the tailgate. I'll tell you this much. Ashton Crowder, of course, looking to pick up extra points here as he takes the white flag. Won the pole, started from the back, took the lead under the first green flag pit cycle. But Andrew Schulte tied for second in the points. He's been a podium machine of late. He is doing all he can to help keep Ashton Crowder in check. But the man cannot be stopped through turns 3 and 4. Ashton Crowder is a winner again, this time at Richmond. Scott Patton, Andrew Schultz on the podium. That is win number 8 on the season for Crowder.
And a little love tap from Scott Patton.
Oh!
And a whole lot of love from Andrew Schultz.
So certainly a whole lot of contact, that's for sure. Now we'll give it a shot. See what variation of the burnout we get here.
Oh.
We're gonna. Oh.
No.
He always keeps us on our toes. Oh, he may be going for a ramp here. Do we have a ramp? Oh. Oh my.
We have the disappearing act.
And it's over. Now you see me, now you don't. Well, he'll be medevac to Victory Lane in some local medical facility somewhere. As it's Crowder with the win, Patton in second, Schultz in third. We'll talk to all three of these gentlemen momentarily. Cody Griffin then and Justin Michael, the two drivers that brought out the last two cautions, they finish in fourth and fifth. Charlie Widener then in sixth, Michael Milfeld Jr. in seventh, Rob Haynes in eighth, and the last truck on the lead lap is Brennan Gregg in ninth. James Lehman will finish in 10th, Jack Watts 11th, Greg Ball in 12th, Johnny Hamby, Matthew Montgomery, Heath Smith, and Brad Slagle through the 16th position. John Pansula and Bill Paradise 17th and 18th, Ryan McRoberts in 19th, Jack Nunemacher in 20th, Doug Heveron, I believe, is going to be the first DNF of the night, finishing 21st, Kerry Cleaver in 22nd, Chris Voiles 23rd, and Will Kirk in 24th. It is podium interview time. And we'll go in search of your third place finisher. And here he is, Andrew Schultz, keeping his podium streak alive here with another impressive drive through the field. Welcome back to Booth 200, partner. Nice run.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We're doing what we can do.
And that's what I said there on the closing lap on the broadcast. As well as Ashton Crowder is performing, you are doing all you can to match him here. As often as he wins, you're on the podium just as frequently here down the stretch. This truck looked sketchy tonight, to say the least. Is that how it felt in the cockpit?
Yeah, no, not a whole lot of drive off. You had to have an egg underneath the gas pedal, trying to get back in the throttle until the truck was pretty much straight. I mean, it was. I typically run a lot more rear brake than everyone else, so others might not have struggled as bad as me as far as drive off, but I was hurting the tires on entry trying to get it to rotate, which was then hurting my drive off. So, but it was, yeah, I mean, it was exactly what I expected Richmond to be. It always seems to be like this. Doesn't matter really the temperature or what cars you're in. You're never going to have good drive off, and the name of the game is keeping tires under it.
Matt, what do you got?
Well, congrats on the P3. You battled all night here tonight, but you got a caution late in the race there, and actually another one ended up coming out. But coming to the final restart, we've seen you have really, really good short-run speed here at short tracks. What were you thinking there going into the final restart?
I didn't pay attention to how many laps we had left. I knew it was going to be a bit of a struggle trying to get past Justin because he was decent short run, but burnt his tires up pretty decent, or pretty quickly, and I think we just got a little lucky with how loose he got in front of us coming out of turn 2. I know we were starting to run him down, but I didn't know if we were going to have enough time to battle with him and make a good clean pass on him. But all in all, it was just, we got lucky with the second caution because we were starting about mid-pack after getting the wave around. So it was going to be a battle getting through the lap cars, and thankfully we kept our truck relatively clean through that second wreck there. And was just able to salvage what we could there.
Well, nice run here. Anybody want to say hello to or shout out?
Yeah, shout out Patented Paints. Shout out Turn 200. Love watching the broadcast back. You guys always do an awesome job. Shout out to the Bandit Motorsports teammates. Congrats to Scott on the P2. Justin with the P top 5. Rob with the top 10. James with the top 10. And all the sim wives and sim moms out there.
Absolutely. Shout out Sim Wives and Sim Moms. Best of luck to you in Sonoma next week. Are we thinking another podium is on tap at the road course?
No.
No, why not?
But we'll see. I mean, it's a road course. If it's anything like how what was that? Mid-Ohio? Yeah, if it's anything like Mid-Ohio went, I mean, we're just going to be hoping to maybe stay on the lead lap and not get in the way as much as we did that race. So we'll see. It'll be fun nonetheless, and going to be sweating our asses off by the end of it, just trying to keep her between the ditches. So we'll see. Hopefully, it's entertaining to watch, but I don't have very much confidence in it.
Well, best of luck in practice this week, but go celebrate a podium here tonight. Well done.
Thanks, guys.
And now we'll talk to another driver who I'm sure is probably sweating after this one here tonight. Scott Patton keeps on the podium here with his second place finish. Welcome back to Booth 200. A nice drive for you out here tonight. It looked like, and we talked to Andrew about this a little bit, a lot of people looked like they were struggling to keep the rear end of the truck under them tonight. From an outward viewpoint, it did not look like you had that problem tonight, but I don't know. Was the truck as much of a handful as some other drivers were having to deal with?
Oh yeah, for sure. It was a handful the entire run there. I may have hidden it maybe better than other drivers, but yeah, it was the back end wanted to come around every single corner there. So keeping that under control was key. Keeping it off the wall was key, and certainly getting around the lap traffic was a challenge throughout the race. But come home second, not a bad run, I guess. Another podium. Is that a turkey?
I think
That's
so.
a turkey. I'll take it.
You put in a great clip to track down Cody Griffin there in the first real green flag run of the night. And then once you got up to him, it looked like you had a hard time trying to find a way around. Was that you overcooking the tires a bit on your way through, or was that just how difficult it is to make a pass here at Richmond?
Combination of both. I knew that you're right. I caught him there, but it's kind of like there's nowhere to go, right? I could dive it in there, but then you're going to spin the tires in the middle of the corner, and he's just going to drive up off the high side and pull away, and then I'm going to end up killing the tires trying to do that a couple times. The other factor I had was I think I got into him back in New Hampshire, so I was trying my best to prevent that from happening again. But yeah, when you get that close behind a truck, it's hard to see the braking point. So, you know, you want to hit your braking point as deep as you can, but at the same time, if you miss it by that much, you're going to be into that truck before you know it. So just kind of backing off a little bit early, kind of saving some tires, hopefully waiting for him to make a mistake. I think that's what happened eventually. Maybe there's a lap car involved too, if I remember right. I don't quite remember that early, but yeah, certainly a struggle to finish the pass, but ultimately we got it done, and I think we pulled away a little bit.
Matt, what do you got?
Well, congrats on the podium finish, and you showed a ton of speed all night. Ashton had just a leg up on you here in the speed category, but there on the first pit stop, it was kind of awkward. We had a lot of caution laps in the beginning. Was it your original plan to try to go that long, or was it a combination trying to maybe keep Ashton a lap down, and the cautions kind of pushed that run back, it seemed, a little bit?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting race from the strategy standpoint because I think we had a couple cautions early on, which would lead me to believe we're going to have more, but then we had that huge green flag right in the middle. With Ashton pitting as early as he did, to be honest with you, I knew I wasn't going to beat Ashton on playing the same game, playing the same rules as he was playing, so you got to do something different. So he kind of dealt my hand for me there with pitting. I knew that I was kind of committed to staying out a little bit later. Actually, I think that reminds me. I think that's where I passed Cody, if I remember right, on pit road, basically with having a couple laps of fresher tires than him. So I knew I was coming in within 5 laps, so I just short pitted that 5 to get a couple on him to make that pass and maybe get some fresh laps to run a gap on him, on Cody. But yeah, that kind of played my hand out when he pitted. When Ashton pitted, I knew I was going to basically do the opposite of whatever he did. So that was that, and we gave it all we could there, especially in the end on that restart. I thought maybe if I could jump out there and hold him off on the outside or something, we'd get him to burn his tires and maybe make a mistake on the inside, but that obviously wasn't reality either. So hats off to Ashton once again.
Great job on the turkey, as you said here tonight. Anybody you want to shout out or say hello to?
Appreciate it, guys. Certainly Stone River Outfitters for all their help here and the sponsor on this Chevy Silverado, and then New England Racing Museum up here in the Northeast, Dr. Dick Bergen's project, and certainly you guys. We got you guys on the quarter panel there. Can't forget about Turn 200. One of the best in the business. Appreciate you guys' work.
Absolutely. Money's coming your way here soon, by the way. But appreciate the shout-outs. And keep up the good work. We'll turn that turkey into whatever comes after a turkey. I got to study up on my bowling terms, I guess. But
I do too.
Four-bagger. A four-bagger's coming, baby.
A four-bagger, absolutely. Yeah, and there will be certainly a lot of bowling, I think, next week at Sonoma as well. So we're looking forward to that. Maybe you are as well.
Yeah, a little road racing. I think we'll change it up here a little bit, so we'll see what we got there. But appreciate it, guys.
Yep. Alrighty, race winner time. Ashton Crowder from the back to the front after taking his 9th pole of the season. Doesn't get to utilize the space up front, but doesn't take him very long to get up front after that either. So congrats on win number 8 of the season. Definitely some work to get up through the field there and some bullets to dodge on your way through as well.
That's an interesting way to put it. Yeah, it was a rough one the first half of the race. I didn't really have the speed that I was not anticipating, but I was hoping that I would have the first run. So didn't really get the track position that I wanted. So I pretty much just thought to myself, like, as soon as I start to feel like I'm getting dirty air here and being held up, I might as well just, pull the trigger. It did probably about 10 laps sooner than what I was initially planning on to with all the cautions that we had. So, yeah, it was a bit rough, but where we ended up, once everything kind of cycled through and everything, I mean, we had about 6 seconds on Scott, and then the next run, we probably would have had about 10 seconds on him by the time everything evened out, and seemed like we had better long run pace, so we probably would have pulled a lot more. So it probably would have ended up like 13, 14 seconds maybe at the end of it, which would have been really cool. But either way, still got a win, which is awesome. Worked out really well. All the track position we had, we could get on and off pit road and just kind of coast around. And yeah, it just worked out pretty much perfectly for us. Really cool.
Now, we saw several drivers, yourself included, try the middle, try the top at various points in the race and both ends of the track. But it seemed like a lot of the drivers that were going up top were finding themselves with a lot of rear instability, even more so than the baseline setup here. Were you having some of those same problems trying different lines there?
Not really. It's pretty tight on the bottom, so you kind of wanted to move up a little bit and try to find something out that way. Because I mean, contrary to what they say on the real life broadcast, if you're tighter, you want to be higher, and if you're looser, you want to be lower, just because of the radius. So definitely searching up helps, especially in dirty air. Like that first run, I don't know if would have caught it, but I think it may have been a pass on maybe Andrew. I ran the wall entry at 1 and kind of just ducked it down. That really helps because you're not having to load up the left rear so much, and like I did to my girlfriend's Mazda SUV today, hike up the rear tire going around a corner. You don't really get that effect like you do running the bottom. But yeah, I mean, it's just a challenge in general. When the track was hotter, and we didn't have so much, well, I guess downforce and power, run the top really helped. But as the night came around and humidity and everything changed and properties of our car changed because of it, yeah, the bottom pretty much was the way to go, which is pretty similar to how it runs in real life, actually. So pretty cool.
Matt, what do you got for the race winner?
Well, congrats on the race win, Ashton. It was kind of straightforward for you after you got the lead on the alternate strategy from a lot of the drivers here tonight. But I was curious. There were, I think, 3 cautions right at the beginning of the race. You had to come from the back of the field, and those obviously help you, I think. But is there any party that wishes that those cautions don't occur through the middle of the field, because you're kind of in harm's way there?
No, actually, funny enough, those really hurt us. If the race goes fully green, we get to, oh god, I want to say exploit. Do not want to say that word, but that's the word I'm going to use. We can kind of exploit everybody else because they're not running to the same numbers I'm running to, because they don't. I'm assuming they don't have the same calculator I do. So, and maybe they do, I don't know. But what the numbers that I have that I'm running to, I'm just trying to get to like a baseline number. Um, they're like fall off and everything like that, and plateau points and blah blah blah, and then kind of just sweeping through that for the next run, and then getting to the end, or getting to the start of my third and final run, which is pretty much just like a zero push, just go half throttle run. But it ends up being a lot better for you in terms of time on racetrack and cars, or net cars needing to be passed, etc., etc. So when it goes green, you can really get through those runs and you create a huge gap on the pit stop. But the shorter the race, or the more cautions there is, the less that gap is. So, for example, on that first stop, I had a 6-second lead. If the cautions didn't come out when they did, if it would have went green checkered all the way through, I would have had about a 10-second lead. So it's a pretty substantial delta. So when the cautions come out, it kind of sucks, but it's the same game for everybody else. So it makes it more interesting.
Well, there you go. You had to work for it there on a late couple of, not green white checker, but a couple of late restarts, and end up fending off the challenge from Scott Patton and company en route to win number 8 on the season. Anybody you want to shout out or say hello to here?
Yeah, for sure. BC Lunar Tech, of course. Always gotta shout them out. My girlfriend, our anniversary today, actually.
Oh,
So
happy
shout out to
anniversary.
her. Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm sure she says thank you, 5 yards away from me, behind me. But yeah, and then my grandparents are watching too. Everybody in the league. You guys for putting on the broadcast. Obviously, come on now. But I just want to say real quick, kind of back myself up here. I know when I talk about like calculators and all this type of stuff, it seems really fancy, um, and it seems kind of overkill. But I like to be really strategic in everything that I do. Real student of the game. Same way in basketball. Guys I play with on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. They don't like it, but I'm always really calculated with what I like to do. And same goes for racing, and this is a big passion of mine. And every time I come in here, or any race that I'm doing, I want to do the best I can do. And um, we've really been able to put our best foot forward throughout the season so far, except for New Hampshire when we passed the car on the inside. But we don't need to mention that one. Um, but thankfully the win stood there, and everything ended up all right.
And things looking awfully all right here tonight as well. Congrats on the win. Looking forward to more down the stretch. I guess before we go, how are you feeling about Sonoma next week?
Oh, it's Sonoma?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, I got
joy.
switched. Yep.
Joy. Oh, wow. I thought it was going to be the Roval, and that's one of my home tracks. This is technically now a home track too, Richmond.
Hmm.
But Sonoma, super super low grip surface, even lower grip than Mid Ohio, and that played out really well for me, thankfully. So probably gonna have to text Carson Hocevar, figure out how to do that well. So you got the pole there with the broken leg, I think.
Yes, he
Maybe
did.
ankle or something. I don't know what it was, but he got the pole and then wrecked it. So
According to Reddit, it actually got amputated, but I think he still has that one. Yeah.
Yeah, nah, it's fine. Nah, don't worry about it. It's just metal. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love Sonoma. Anything that's low grip is really fun. Like Richmond, super low grip, really fun. Darlington too. Any tracks like that, super enjoyable. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully, because I'm saying that I'm going to enjoy it, I don't absolutely hate it. But we'll see.
Well, there you go. Go celebrate the win. Go celebrate your anniversary as well. We'll get to talk to you again next week.
Yeah, try. Go Hokies.
There's your race winner, Ashton Crowder, win number 8 on the season. I don't know if you heard about actual real-life Sonoma today, Nats, but somebody...
Repave.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was Corey LaJoy said they're going to repave the track. Bob Pockris reached out to the track, and they said no comment. So apparently it was a big secret. And it still is, I guess. I don't really know.
I don't think it is anymore.
No,
I think it's basically been confirmed at this point. They just said they don't really have a timeline for when it's going to happen. But it's supposed to happen before the race next year.
Well, it's not going to happen before next week's race. I can tell you that much. Next Thursday night. A lot of racing between now and then. We'll tell you more about that in a second. But Matt Williamson, some closing thoughts here on tonight's expose at Richmond.
Yeah, I mean, Scott Patton kind of said it, kind of an awkward race as far as strategy goes, or I guess you could say a more interesting race as far as strategy goes, the way the cautions played out and everything. So pretty cool to see some alternate strategies from the drivers here tonight. Ashton Crowder kind of pulled the curtain back a little bit on some of what he was thinking with his calculations and everything. So always cool to learn some new information, because I certainly am not privy to all of the bells and whistles when it comes to that stuff. So pretty cool stuff for the drivers here tonight, and thanks to everybody that was out here watching. Ashton Crowder was actually in the chat earlier tonight, so thanks to Ashton for watching the broadcast and chatting with us. And Andrew Schulte always shouts out the Sim Wives and Sim Moms. I would like to shout out the Sim broadcasting girlfriends as well.
Hey!
Mine puts up with me doing this a lot during the week, so shout out to Madison for letting me come in here and do this with you. Really appreciate her for all the support, and appreciate you for doing this with me. It's always a blast.
Yes, thank you, Madison. Greatly appreciate your sacrifice as well. Although I think I'm doing you a favor in the long run. That's a joke. Now we're gonna be on a quick off here all of a sudden. Sunday, it is the Mission R Challenge from Okayama. Boy, that strength of field race today got spicy. We have a lot to talk about on Sunday. Monday for Truck 200, it's at Talladega. Phantom Truck Series is back next Tuesday. It's at Talladega. Wednesday, it's the Turn 200 Challenge from Big Willow Springs. And then next Thursday, you heard it here, it is road course racing at Sonoma. 3 road courses and 2 super speedways next week. It is going to be a funky week here on Turn 200. We hope you are here for every single lap, or at least back here for next week's race at Sonoma. But whatever the case, until we meet again, for everybody here with Maximum Velocity Racing League, for the GOAT, Matt Williamson, and also for Madison, I am Tommy Cook. Until we meet again, we say so long from virtual Richmond Raceway, where Ashton Crowder takes win number 8 on the season. Have a good night, everybody.